Okay, this week's weekly worksheet is IXL. What is the skill? Nolan, what does H3 mean? Multiply decimals. This is a repeat. We've done multiply decimals before, but I feel we still need some practice. On your sheet, where it says expectations, it says reach a SMART score of 50%. Mark that out. I just edit the same one, and I changed it down below. I didn't change it up there at the top. It says reach a SMART score of 50%. What do you think that's supposed to be? 75. Okay? Now, these decimal problems are longer problems. Cooper, can you read the fine print under the box that says H3? Down where you, yeah.
Show all work, no credit.
Show all work, no work equals no credit. I mean like a 0. Not extra time, not redo it. I'm not resetting SMART scores. If you turn it in blank, you get a 0. Okay? For multi-digit multiplication, is no one in here can do that in their head. Not a single person in here can do that in their head. If it's like 124 times 56. Okay? Everybody should have some work. It's usually 15-ish, 12 to 15 problems is usually what it takes you to get to a SMART score of 75 if you don't do what? Miss any. Okay? If you miss one, then that number goes up. So should there be quite a bit of work on this piece of paper when you turn it in? Yes. We're going to do 2 examples together just to refresh your memory on how to multiply decimals. So I want you to write these so everybody's first 2 problems will be exactly the same. So down at the bottom in the workspace, example 1, we're going to start with what I consider the easy ones, but they're the ones that tend to mess us up the most. Let's do 0.4 times 0.002. What is my rule for multiplying decimals, Jack?
Multiply the number and forget about all the zeros and decimals.
Yeah, so we ignore the decimal point, okay? Pretend the decimal point's not there. If the decimal points aren't there, would you say I'm 4 years old?
No.
No, so we can also ignore those zeros. You're right. And you want to say I'm 2 years old. Okay, so what 2 numbers do you see, Haley? Without the decimal points. 2 and 4. What's 2 times 4? 8. So we put down our 8. How do I figure out where my decimal point goes? Jude?
How many zeros are in the problem?
No, not how many zeros are in the problem.
How many zeros are after the decimal point?
No? Nate?
How many are behind the decimal?
How many decimal places there are? Not zeros, decimal places. I count up the decimal places in the problem and I make my answer match. So physically count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, these are the ones that get people because they don't know where to go. Where do I start and which way do I move? Jack?
You start on the right and go to the left.
Yeah, I start on the far right. In this one, I only have 1 number, but I start on the far right with my counting, 1, and I move to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my decimal point. Who can tell me my answer? This is still just my work. Harper? 0.0008. I fill in all my empty blanks with zeros. Double check. We know we should have 4 decimal places. Do I have 4 decimal places?
Yes.
And turn off your math brain, turn on your common sense brain for a second. This one's a little bit harder. Estimate. Ignore the decimal places completely. What is 0 times 0? 0. I should get something really, really small and close to 0. Is that number really, really small and close to 0?
Yep.
Yes. Okay? Because some people will give me like 8 as an answer, or 8,000, or 80,000, all kinds of crazy answers. Okay, there's those. Example 2. Notice on that problem, did I still show work?
Yes.
Is there a lot of work to show? No, but there is work to show for every single problem. Next one, we're going to do 12.4 times 1.3. Yep, this is our last example. Now, before you multiply or after. Check it with common sense. So we're going to do our common sense answer first. Pretend these are whole numbers. You don't even have to round properly to get an idea of what we're going to be close to. If I just ignore the decimal places altogether, Ethan, what two numbers do you see? What two whole numbers do you see?
12 and 1.
12 times 1. What's 12 times 1? 12. I should get something close to 12. Okay, if I get something close to 120, I'm off. If I get something close to 1, I'm off. Because usually if you're off, if you do all of your math correctly, you put your decimal point in the wrong place. What math problem do I need to do? Jack?
124 times 1.3.
Try again. 124. I agree with that.
9 times 13.
Times 13. We ignore the decimal points completely. I've noticed a lot of students have been messing up on multi-digit algorithm. You get one partial product and you are stopping. Remember, if we have a 2-digit number here, I should have 2 partial products down here. If I'm multiplying by a 3-digit number, I should be adding together 3 numbers down there. Nate, help me get going. What do I do?
3 times 4.
What's 3 times 4? 2. Where do I put my 1?
Above the 2.
Regroup. Okay. Keep going.
And then you do 3 times 2 and add the 1, which is 7.
Good job. It's 7. Okay, keep going.
And then 3 times 1 is 3.
3 times 1 is 3. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my regrouping so I don't confuse it in the next step. Bryce, take over.
1 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40.
Okay, so what should I put in before I do any math?
Zeros.
The 0. Don't forget that 0 because you're multiplying by 10, not by 1. Okay, now go.
4.
4,
2.
2,
1.
1. We add 2, 11, 6. Common wrong answer is 1,612. Turn off your math brain, turn on your common sense brain. Is 1,612 close to what we thought it would be? 12. No, it's nowhere near it, so that's off. How do I decide where my decimal point goes? Sophia?
By how many numbers you have to the decimal.
Yeah, how many decimal places are in the problem? There's 1, 2 in my problem. Where do I start counting? And this one I'd get lucky, but Ella, where?
Behind the 2.
At the back. Yep, I start at the far right, 1, 2, and then it goes in that next spot, 16.12. Do I have 2 decimal places? Is 16 close to 12? Yes. Okay, and if you're trying to get even better estimate to decide if it's between this and this, we rounded down to get that 12 times 1. I rounded 12.4 down, 1.3 down. So 12 is a low estimate. If I rounded both of them up, what would I round them up to?
13 and 2.
13 and 2. What's 13 times 2? 26. So that means my answer has to be between 12 and 26. Is my answer between 12 and 26? Yes, so my answer makes sense. Okay, weekly worksheet, when is it due? Friday. Do you have to get 50% or 75? 75. Okay, now you may put that away.